My name is Reagan Ebler, and I'm going to be speaking on the impacts of native plants in the designed landscape. So a native plant is a plant that occurs in a specific area on its own, so a plant that just happens to grow naturally in that area. And something cool about native plants in Colorado is that they can grow anywhere from the low altitudes of the foothills all the way to the timberline up in the very tops of the mountains. So the big question here is, should they be used when designing landscapes and gardens? And there's a few key factors that go along with that, such as their aesthetic appeal, the pest attraction that they have, the availability of them to buy them in nurseries and other stores, their maintenance requirements, and their ecological benefits, along with the impact of public health. So on one side are the negatives, and with the aesthetic appeal of native plants is that they may look unkept because they do have that very natural look to them. So they thrive in the environment that they're in, and you can see in this picture here, they just kind of take over and do whatever natural looking growth they want to do. So some clients of landscape designers do not like this look and find it unaesthetically pleasing. So the other part of the negatives is that they may attract pests, and that goes in hand with them being natural to the area. So natural pests like rats and voles and bats and moles and big animals like deer and elk can be attracted to them because they are naturally occurring, and so are those pests. And again, clients may find this unappealing as well because what if they have a small backyard or something like that? They don't really want these pests coming and bothering their backyards. So the other issue with native plants is that they have a limited availability. Since they're pretty popular within the nurseries, they fly off the shelves pretty fast, and since there aren't that many native plants to choose from, they are high demand and low supply, so they tend to be pretty expensive as well. So let's move on to the positives of native plants and design landscapes, and that is that they are very low maintenance. Since they occur naturally in their specific area, they are used to the conditions such as the weather and the soil and just other growing habit, things like that. So there's little to no watering needed. There's little to no pruning needed unless you want to keep them more shapely and less of that unkempt look. They also do not need protection from heat or frost because they are built for that specific landscape. So the ecosystem benefits that they bring, you can see here I've got pictures of natural birds and pollinators that native plants attract, and so they really bring a positive impact to the local ecosystem because they have these natural materials and nutrients for the wildlife and other plants and pollinators and other insects and things like that. They also help increase public health. So with non-native plants, they require a lot of things like fertilizers and occasionally insecticides and pesticides and other chemical applications, which can, when you water them, run off and get into our creeks and streams, and also the wind can pick them up if they're applied by spray, and so that can get into our waters and our air that we breathe in and just further pollute our environment. So therefore, in the long run, they help increase public health generally. So what's the verdict, you may be asking? And that is that we should use native plants in landscaping whenever possible. And this is because there are more pros than cons, and most of the pros are based in scientific fact, where the cons are mostly like, they're inconvenient to get, they're expensive, and just other personal preference things like that, aesthetic appeal and things like that. So just for our environment and our local ecosystems and to help our Mother Earth, I have found with my research that it is more beneficial to use them in landscape design than to not use them. So with that, I want to leave you with the question, how can you incorporate native plants into your yard? So the next time you go to a plant nursery, I would urge you to check out their native plant supply and see if anything catches your eye, and to do your research to see if your backyard is equipped for the resources that native plants need and if they would be right for you.